episode 3. So we have not done enough damage to our respective companies that they've told us not to do this anymore. So welcome back for our, what was it, triumvirate? Would that be episode? If you notice, we've got a new theme intro song. Pretty excited about that. 80s hero montage. But we are coming to you live from, we're going to call this the Star Hill Lounge, I think now, with C-Chat.
That's what it's called.
Thanks again to Star Hill for sponsoring us in this space. Come on down to Star Hill downtown, get yourself a beer. Valentine's Day is coming up, so get some of the love. I am here with Sarah Messer, Eleanor Von Aiken. Sarah, introduce yourself.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am the owner of Juice Laundry as well as the facilitator of Station C, and I am here with Eleanor.
Hi, I'm Eleanor Von Aiken. As you guys know, I don't know why I'm looking at you.
Talk to the camera.
And I'm the general manager here at Dairy Market and the Brick Cellar, our event space downstairs, and a member of Station C. And I really love joining you guys every week on this podcast. It's really nice.
It's been fun.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. A lot of fun meeting new people and learning about different organizations, and just really just having kind of a little downtime from my normal gig of food and beverage.
Right.
And, enjoying it all. So.
Yeah, I think it's more than I thought it was going to be, and I hope folks are liking it. We're getting pretty positive responses from people, so it's not horrible. But yeah, I've had a lot of fun with it. I think it's been great.
Yeah.
And like I said, we bring in a different person, different member from Station C every week, and we've had some really cool folks this week. We're going to have Joe Miller, so it's going to change a little bit. No, it's good. It's going to be great. Joe is in the mortgage. What's the name of it?
I'm a senior loan officer with Intercoastal Mortgage here in town.
Intercoastal Mortgage. So we're going to chat it up with Joe today and find out what's going on in the mortgage world, what's going on with all these rates. You see 1,000 different articles every day in the news about it's up, it's down, this is good, this is bad, don't buy, what are you waiting for? So we're going to find out today. We're going to pick your brain. We're going to find all that stuff out. So, Joe, introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you do.
It's like I said, Joe Miller, senior loan officer with Intercoastal Mortgage. I've been in the mortgage business this is my 21st year. I'm born and raised in Charlottesville, Martha Jefferson Hospital. Grew up out in Earlysville, attended St. Anne's Belfield, went off to college, came back, lived in Richmond for a year, realized it was way too big because I grew up here. And I've been here ever since. Met my wife, who was then in school while I was bartended at the Biltmore, and convinced her to stay here in Charlottesville, and we moved to Crozet in 2004. So we're going on 20 years here out in Crozet. Got a couple kids, and I love what I do. Absolutely love what I do. So
one of the few natives to the area, right?
Yeah, I mean there used to be a lot of us.
There's only a couple of us now, right?
Yep, exactly. Yep.
So were you a bartender at the Bill?
I did. I bartended late 90s.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I moved down the street to Blue Ridge, what was then Blue Ridge Brewing Company, morphed into Star Hill. So
it's homecoming.
Yeah,
it's a homecoming. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Actually, Josh Tracy and I both are West Main Street graduates. So yeah,
we'll have another episode where we talk about the crazy stories from the late '90s down at the Biltmore.
Yeah.
Joe, you're a big UVA sports fan, right?
Slightly, yeah.
Did you happen to catch the game last night?
I was at the game last night.
Did you happen to see the kiss cam that caught Nathan?
I sure did. Oh, actually, no, I didn't see it. I didn't see it until after it happened. But yeah, my buddy in front of me, or actually, I got a buddy from text from Mike Brand who said, "Hey, Did you see Nathan?" And I was like, "Oh, now I do." So yeah. Good FaceTime.
I'm going to credit the podcast camera for making me a little more comfortable because they're doing the halftime show where they interview these. It's a game they play, and so for a solid 2 minutes, the camera's right there on these two ladies, and me and my buddy Sean Bridge are right behind them. And they just are focused on us. You're kind of like, what do I do now? I'm going to look really supportive. Like, go get him! Try not to look at the Jumbotron and not right at the camera. But then you get 1,000 texts from people, you're like, look like an idiot up there today.
I thought you looked great. I mean, since this started, the cameras just follow you around.
That's right. Yeah. It's the celebrity that is this podcast. Cool. Well, so tell us about what's going on in the world of mortgages today. Have we hit the high point? Are we coming down? Am I asking crazy questions? Where are we?
It's funny, actually. I do a weekend update for all my clients and realtors and friends, and I was actually writing this up yesterday for this weekend's update. We've come down off of our peak, or what has been our peak so far. The last week, the Federal Reserve came out and gave some comments that the market liked a lot, and we kind of celebrated. And we had been sort of fluctuating in the sixes, and for about 48 hours, you could. If you had a contract ready, which is hard to do in Charlottesville right now, you could get something with a 5 in front of it. And then on Friday morning, the jobs report came out, and the jobs report was fantastic. It's 519,000, I think, was the number, which is, you would think that sounds like that's great, right? But apparently that's really not, because what new jobs does is adds money into the market, and it adds expenses for business owners, and then in turn that kind of causes inflation to rise again. So the market, we got to dance for 48 hours, and then that was kind of right back down to the sixes again. So what we're telling everybody, it's sort of, I equate it to gasoline. Everybody hated paying. I'm never paying $3.45 gasoline, right? And well, I've done it every day this week. So you're just going to have to adjust to. We're not going to hit a 3 for a while. We may not hit a 4 for a while. Possibly later this year. But what Chairman Powell, the chairman of the Federal Reserve, has said is that their monetary policy, they believe, is working. But it's a slow process. They want to get inflation down to a 2% number, which is apparently the global standard. Right now, it's about 4, and so they plan on raising rates a couple more times, possibly this year. But which doesn't really affect my world as much, because we expect that. What my world doesn't like is surprise. So last week was a little bit of a surprise because, we were hoping that they weren't going to raise by a half. They only raised last Wednesday. They only raised by a quarter, so that was good news. There was no surprises, and the market reacted positively. But what we don't like is when what they call hawkish language, or things that sound sort of negative. The market reacts. The market's like this pulsing, actually, like beast of its own, right? So it reacts off of data, and so if they think data is negative, then it reacts negatively, and then our world is affected.
You have a phrase that I love.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm going to say? Date the rate,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because you're not gonna guess this thing. You're not gonna get. So just if
Yeah.
you find a house you want.
Marry the home, date the rate. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. There it is.
Yeah.
Talk to me.
So yeah, I mean it's funny. That's what we tell people is, and I'm not sure that I necessarily always agree with that. Especially now, I think you just have to find out. People have lost a lot of buying power. Especially we're in an expensive area to buy a home.
Really?
Yeah.
I noticed that.
Yeah. But and it's. Where was I? It's tough. I mean, so what you want to do is find a payment you're comfortable with, and then make sure. What I'm telling people to do right now is, and they're in the planning phase, is find. I'm going to give you a range of what you can qualify for. Right. That's $1,200 a month. Maybe that's $1,800 a month. But if you're not used to paying that, and you're used to or you're in a rent situation that maybe you're renting from a family member, and that's it's less so they can help you out, then it's that sticker shock of that new payment is tough, especially so what I tell people to do is take that money, put it into a savings account for a few months, and then find out how quickly that you need to dip into that. Like if you can get it to the 25th or 27th of the month before you're dipping into it, then you're doing a pretty good job. That might be a comfortable payment for you. We might need to back it down just a little bit, but that's a range, right? Now, if it's the 10th of the month and you're dipping into it already, then we might need to back it down a lot, and that's when Charlottesville becomes hard, right? Because unless you've got a lot of money to put down, then there's not a whole lot of options out there where we can get you a low monthly payment, especially not when we're at 6.5% to 7%. In that 6 to 7% range. At 2.5 or 3, it was a lot easier. But no, we're not there, and so now we just have to figure out what you're comfortable paying, and then and then figure it out from there. So.
What do you think, I mean, besides having to pay, $2,000 a month in a mortgage, what do you think is the biggest struggle that people are seeing when they're buying homes in Charlottesville right now?
Just like something that's affordable,
Yeah.
and especially, I think, Charlottesville's an interesting beast. I've been here my whole life, and if you're not attached to, I feel like one of 3 or 4 different companies or the cost of living far surpasses the salary ranges or income ranges. So, and that's where you kind of you're finding that balance. Is we don't really have, there's not a whole lot right now that out there that starts with a 3 on a sales price, and if it does, it's going really, really quickly.
Yeah.
I was looking at some market reports this week that the Charlottesville Area Association of Realtors put out, and it seems like stuff for the most part is stable. Prices are stabilizing in certain areas and certain ranges. Things are staying on the market in certain areas a little bit longer. In certain areas, they're going a lot quicker, or still going quickly, I should say.
What's the hottest area right now?
Yeah, that's. I would say one of my realtors tells me there's nothing in the Murray district, right? In that Meriwether-Murray corridor, right? There's nothing on the market. So if you have something to sell, then you're going to get your price in them more. It seems like there's new builds. There's a lot of right now, and new builds I think are, if I looked at the data properly, I think new builds are still outpacing resales. But that's. I think there's a little bit more on the market in the northern Albemarle area. I think there's some on the market here in Charlottesville, but again, it's hard to find that price. So.
There's a lot of crazy, sneaky development going on in the northern part of town. I mean, it's pretty wild when you see the numbers that are planned and set up for out that way.
Yeah.
I mean, you get your ear to the ground. I mean, what do you think? That spot?
I guess I don't cover that area all that much because I'm west of town.
Yeah.
And of course, if somebody wants to be, then I'll certainly help them out. But I think it seems to be one of the areas of growth.
Should Sarah put a juice laundry?
Yeah.
That's what we're really asking.
What about first-time home buyers? So, we have so many people that come to Charlottesville because, it's such a great area to live in, right? We have good schools. It's, fairly low crime. We, have great communities. But, it's hard for first-time home buyers. What are you seeing in the first-time home buying area?
I think you nailed it. It's hard. There's a ton of programs out there, Virginia Housing, USDA, programs where it's a low money down, or Virginia Housing actually in certain areas. We just met the Thursday group last week, met with Frank Webster from Virginia Housing, and they have programs where it's 1% down. It's 3% down. You can get a grant for 2% back. You can get the tax credits that actually put money back in your pocket. But that's what we're kind of finding.
Do all mortgage lenders have access to things like that, or is it something that you have to really shop around to different mortgage brokers to really understand what it is that you're able to get?
Most have access to it. Everywhere I've worked, over my career, for the most part, has had it. Not all mortgage loan officers like to do them. We call them alphabet loans, because they can still be sort of cumbersome, but it's a great tool to have in your tool belt.
And as a first-time home buyer, is there somewhere I go where I can get that information? So when I'm shopping for mortgages, I can actually go to you and say, "Hey, Joe, these are the things that I've seen. What should I be able to qualify for?"
Virginia Housing has a fantastic website, and it steps you through all the programs. They have calculators. We have access we have calculators on our website at Intercoastal as well. And there's a ton of resources out there. But if you have questions, I'd say just call me. I literally have all the resources. So I think we have 2,400 different products. We have 25 different investors we use. So it's it's pretty amazing. I love where I am right now. So
So you said 1%. It's a crazy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Is one of the biggest misconceptions still that you need 20%.
Oh, yeah,
I mean, that's left over from the 80s,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, so I tell people all the time, ideally,
Right.
Ideally 20% down. Hell, actually, ideally 25% down because you get a little bit better rate when you go down to 25%. But yeah, the reason people want to put more than 20% down if you can is because you buy private mortgage insurance, right? But back in the day, private mortgage insurance, there weren't as many carriers, so the pricing was kind of through the roof, and it was an added expense every month that you had to carry. Now, there's all kinds of different options, and so it's really not that. If you've got good credit and you're putting a decent amount down, your MI every month is going to be a pretty decent number. So, but it's all kind of it's credit weighted. So.
So I mean, how long have you been doing this? You've been doing this forever.
2020. I did my first loan in September of 2002.
So say I'm a 27-year-old first-time home buyer. I've got decent credit. I mean, it's not how long does this process take? What are we talking about here? I've never done this before, and it's daunting, right?
So, from you've got a contract, or you want to get started, or we're talking process?
Just getting started. Me and Eleanor are just starting out in the world. We're ready to take this thing on. We've got, I'm at Willow Tree. I'm banking 100, and she's, working here at Dairy Market.
Just crushing it over here.
So, yeah, we're a fairly successful young couple. What are we talking about here?
So, I mean, I would in that scenario.
It's happening, honey.
In that scenario, if you've got some decent money to put down, right, and it just you're going to find your realtor, and you're going to get out there and do some shopping, figure out where you want to be, and then get a contract in. Once you get a contract in, like I can get you done in. Our average last year was 16 days. We've actually had a few this week we've had two that were 9 days. We've got a new process where we're one of only a few lenders in the country to have it, where we can actually do a soft credit pull. So it's basically we're able to pull your credit report, see what your liabilities are, start your planning, but it doesn't ding that credit report. So it doesn't lower your number, which in certain cases, if you're kind of on a over 700, kind of on the fault lines, right? And just right on that 700 line, right on that 720 line, 740. It can end up saving you thousands of dollars because we can figure out what you need to do to get back above those lines, and that's going to get you better pricing. But yeah, in that situation, we're probably going to use a conforming loan with some mortgage insurance, maybe, if you don't quite have the down payment yet. And 2 weeks is pretty easy for us. Not for everybody, but it is for a lot of lenders out there now.
So let's say Eleanor's out of the picture now. Now me and Sarah are going to about. I'm bringing you in.
You have a separation agreement?
So before we get started,
It's a special relationship.
that's right. Hey, it's 2023. So before you get started, you always hear pre-approval letters.
Yep.
What goes into that? That's the other thing. I mean, do we need to do that? It's a good thing to have,
it's
right?
recommended, and if you want to put an offer in, it's your offer is going to look stronger versus somebody else's offer that doesn't have a pre-approval letter because it's less to worry about. Now, and there's different things.
There's levels of the pre-approval?
Yeah, well, there's a pre-qualification where I've kind of got some basic info from you. I've got kind of taken a look at your credit. You might not have gotten me everything I need to see, though. But if I feel pretty good about it, we can do a pre-qualified. You're pre-qualified. A pre-approval is when we've seen everything. We know you're good to go, and we're going to issue that letter because as soon as you get that contract, boom, we're rolling. So yeah, and that's a strong offer.
In Charlottesville, we love an entrepreneur, right?
Yeah.
So there's lots of us out there. What do you do if a self-employed person wants to buy a house?
I call Michelle. No, just kidding.
Yeah. and Michelle did talk about this a bit last week, so I don't know if you can touch on that a bit.
No, I mean, we get tax returns. Usually we're going to get business and personal tax returns. We're going to look at depreciation. We're going to, because we tell people all the time that business owners who have great accountants don't necessarily match up well with the mortgage world, because they're awesome at saving you money, but they're not awesome at showing what you actually actually earn, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of going in and working numbers back in. It definitely takes a little bit longer because it's a more involved process because there's more paperwork. But it's nothing that a business owner should ever be scared about, because those of us who've been doing it for a long time know what we're doing, and it's just about aligning that paperwork. And typically business owners are organized enough that they've got it all in a file, or they can call an accountant and they can shoebox exactly under the bed, under the mattress. But I did one a couple years ago for a buddy of mine, and had been on vacation together. He's like, man, I know I'm sitting up there at 6%, and he's like, I know I should be refinancing, but he's like, I don't think I qualify. And I'm like, you do pretty well. And you already own your home. That's the first. That's half the battle. Just send me your stuff. And he's like, I think I only show about this. And we added some stuff back in, and it showed he made $60,000-$70,000 more than he thought he was going to be able to show. And we did a quick.
I just did the paperwork round.
No, but it's just about working through the numbers, and there's a lot of guidance, and our back office team will always put a second or third set of eyes on there, and we've got a great operations staff, and just getting us the paperwork is the first hurdle.
Yeah. And maybe we've answered this kind of, but what do you think is the biggest challenge for, especially first-time home buyers on, trying to apply for a mortgage and buying a home? What's the thing that you run into the most that you wish that you were able to communicate before they walk into the office?
So we always tell people that the organization is key, and communication is key, and getting stuff to us on a timely manner is key. If you can sort of keep your financial life somewhat organized at home, it makes the process so much easier. And especially these days when you in a low inventory environment where you need to get an offer in quickly because it needs a competitive offer in quickly. If you don't have everything together, and you're delaying getting stuff back to me so that I can get you that pre-approval letter, you may miss out because things are going 24, 48 hours.
Do you think that things are still going over listing price, or are those types of trends coming down?
So what the realtors I work with regularly tell me, I think there was one of them had a townhouse or condo, I think it was a condo unit that had a 3 in front of it, here recently, and it went in 48 hours, and it went 10% above ask price. Right. I think most of it's location, but I think this is still a market where I always say we tend to be a little bit sheltered as far as from a lot of the national trends because we're a destination city or destination area. People want to be here. We saw a lot of that during the pandemic, where I had clients that were escaping literally New York and escaping DC, and they want to be here. They want to be near the mountains. They want to be out in
One of our realtors, Mozzie Vogler, was talking to her, and she was showing folks houses this past weekend. She said one of the houses they kind of stood around for about an hour. Probably 70 people went through.
That's
nuts, right?
Inventory,
so it's coming back.
Yeah, inventory is low. That's the thing. And I think one issue is where do you go next, right? I know it's what can I get for my house, and then if I do that though, do I really want to step up
somewhere else?
Exactly. Do I want to step up to that next payment level, or no? Or where am I going to go? Especially when the inventory is low. So, and we've got so many great. We're seeing a lot of people wanting to build now, looking for land. I know we've got so many great builders here in Charlottesville.
Josh Tracy, land guy.
Josh Tracy is your land guy.
Great
shout
land.
out.
Can personally attest.
Pillar and Perch, great builders, and that's
just call Josh.
So shameless plug for me. ABC Supply is going to be selling solar. Come get your solar at ABC Supply. So let's say I want to add solar to my house. Do you do HELOCs or second mortgage?
I don't do them directly. We have a number of partners that I use. We've got a couple 100% partners here recently that are sort of based out in the Northern Virginia area that we can use. But I've also got a lot of banking partners locally that I usually recommend. So I
know, some of these numbers we're seeing, 30, 40, 50,000 bucks for some of these, setups. It's you can finance through us, or I think it would probably be more beneficial to to do a second mortgage or a HELOC.
Yeah, I mean, you get that right off. I know, granted, as it's a HELOC is a variable rate, and while the Fed's still raising rates, that you're paying a little bit more, but at least you get a little bit back, in April.
Right.
So, yeah. I mean, solar's it's been fun watching solar evolve with you guys and our
Same
members
here.
that are getting. Yeah.
I've enjoyed it as well.
I hope to enjoy a little bit more.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so Sarah, anything else? For
You have solar yet?
I have trees. I can't do so. But red squirrel.
Red squirrel?
Great tree service.
Need a tree down?
Station
Give 'em
6
a
shout
call.
out. There you go.
So, I always have these.
Here we go. Buckle up, kids.
Crazy end of the talk questions where, I really make you kind of think, and sometimes they get silly and
Or weird. With like
or
the
weird
Zambrino.
or fun. So on the way in today, I was trying to think about what question we would ask, and the one I came up with was what your definition of success was. And, success can be so many different things. I mean, it can be success in your life, in your career, even in just a task, right? So I wanted to kind of go around and ask everyone what they thought their definition of success really was.
I'll start with Sarah.
I'm going to start with
I
Sarah.
gotta start sitting on a different side of the couch.
Lead off batter.
I'm gonna go with my usual hippy dippy answer. Success to me is joy.
Joy. Okay.
Am I feeling joy, experiencing joy? Am I able to great, if you're making a certain amount of income, blah, blah, blah. Yes, we all have to make money. But within that, am I also finding time to do the things that I love?
Yeah.
So am I able to afford joy?
So I'm going to say joy as well. No, I'm just kidding. But along the same lines, a peace of mind, right? When you're 30, you think, success is X amount of dollars in the bank, job, car, and all that. As you get older and you start looking a little bit at life differently, you start saying, maybe that's not quite it all the time.
Nathan,
Still a big
you're not
part of
older
it.
yet. Come on.
Feeling it. You've been in the doctor's office with me yesterday. So, yeah, I would say just peace of mind. Just, being able to just enjoy life. Granted, that comes with a good job and certain things like that, but being able to just kind of, make your own decisions free of other things. Doing what you want to do. Have I given you 3 or 4 answers now? Doing what you want to do. My idea of success.
Final answer?
That is my final answer.
Yeah, I like when people start talking about success in different ways, like, what it means, like, personally to them, not just the money and the car and
Right.
the house and, everything else. But yeah, like, the success is really, do you feel that, your job has been accomplished? Do you feel that, if you have employees, are they happy with what they're doing? Are your customers happy? Really, so I guess it's more of like happiness and what is the other word I'm looking for? Not
Joy.
Joy.
Joy. Joy.
Doing what you want to do.
So I think success is a lot to have to do with, joy and peace of mind and, feeling accomplished, and not just the money you're making or the car you're driving or.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to
Cool
say.
car is nice, though.
A cool car is nice.
Yeah. I don't have one of those, but
It does make me joyful.
I was going to say kind of being respected in my field, but I think at the same time, like that it's a sense of accomplishment.
Yes.
I really like people calling me randomly, about hey, I don't have a mortgage need, but I have a mortgage question.
Right.
Like that's kind of being the person that they think of first. I used
Being
to
the expert.
I used to be a relationship manager for a long time who did mortgages, and I used to tell people, if I'm doing my job properly, anytime you have a big expenditure coming up in your life, you're thinking of me, like what's Joe going to think of this decision, or do I need to call Joe? So I think that just being known as somebody who knows what they're doing, I think. No, and then of course, joy. Just having my kids being nice, good, healthy people, and raising 2 good humans, and having a great marriage, and all that stuff as well. But as far as a measure of success, I'd say having that sense of accomplishment. And,
Yeah. Awesome.
Yes.
Well, I want to hear what all the people that have been watching say about success.
Yeah, add that down.
Would-
Add that in the
Excellent
comments.
action right there.
Do some
Yeah.
comments and let us
Please
know what
do.
they think are meanings of success. Maybe we'll mesh it into some meetings.
Yeah.
Mesh it in. Maybe the winner will get to be on the podcast.
Yeah, maybe there'll be a
What a
winner
treat.
gets to
What
be
a
on the
treat.
podcast.
What a treat.
Give us your
Living the
best
dream.
reason for or definition of success. We'll bring you on the show and talk about all those things.
Yeah, and that and $20 will get you on the show.
owe you
All right,
20 bucks.
you know what? Episode 3
It's a wrap.
is in the books now. Maybe next week, I guess we're coming back. It'll be the 1-month anniversary extravaganza. Get ready,
Woohoo.
surprise guest. It's going to be huge. We've got an
Wild.
intro song now. Oh, is it an outro song as well? Sydney Korber is working behind the scenes.
Love Sydney.
She's great for these
Shout out
podcasts.
to all our sponsors.
Yes.
right.
So once
All
again,
those
thank you,
sponsors.
Star Hill, for the lounge. Thank you to Pillar and Perch Builders. Thank you to Station C. If you're looking to grow your network and personally and professionally, I think all of us sitting in here right now can attest to the value of that, and it's been a great thing. So
Going on 1 year, and it's been fantastic. It's really one of my 2 favorite days of the week. I go to a couple different meetings, and it has been like added great new close friends that I didn't even know last year. It's been I've really enjoyed my year, so I can't wait for this year. It's gonna be great.
I know.
be a great year.
Especially coming up, we're visiting a pig farm for one of
Yeah,
the
apparently. I
pig
just got that
sanctuary.
text a little while ago.
Pig sanctuary
Yeah, we're
for
gonna-
Joe's group.
Yeah.
have COVID.
Thank you so much, Joe, for
Field
joining
trip.
us.
Oh, thanks for having me. It's
Really
fantastic.
wonderful.
Oh, thank you.
So see you next Wednesday.
See ya.
Thanks, everybody.